Paige Burns from Eastern New Mexico University, and today I'll be talking about employee discrimination. According to the Business Dictionary, discrimination is defined as bias or prejudice resulting in denial of opportunity or unfair treatment regarding selection, promotion, or transfer. Discrimination is practiced commonly on the grounds of age, disability, ethnicity, origin, political belief, race, religion, sex, or other factors which are irrelevant to a person's ability to perform the task at hand. Many people do not realize the populations affected by discrimination. It is not just race or sex, although a large portion of discrimination is directed towards them. But it can stem from personal bias according to preference. But why does this matter? If everyone is not treated equally, people are going to have different opinions about what is right and wrong. That doesn't mean they should be able to take away opportunities and treat people different in what should be a professional environment. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is directly stated in the United States Declaration of Independence, which governments are created to protect. It is hard to live in the pursuit of happiness when employers are not allowing employees to grow and receive promotions they deserve. People should not be punished because of the way they're born or the decisions they have made. They are still people and they have rights just like everybody else, even if opinions or views do not say so. In the workplace, those should not matter. It should be who is the most efficient in getting the job done. Employers think they can push people around or treat them unfair and get away with it because of their power. If this is true, it is time to take the power out of their hands. Many acts and regulations have protected against discrimination. These give everyone a fighting chance for equal opportunity for hiring, firing, compensation, promotion, layoff, training, benefits, pay, retirement plans, and disability or maternity leave, all of which are covered under Title VII. Pregnancy Discrimination Act under Title VII makes it illegal to discriminate against women because of pregnancy or childbirth, or any medical conditions related to pregnancy or childbirth. The Equal Pay Act of 1963 makes it illegal to pay different wages to men and women if they perform equal work in the same workplace. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act of 1967 protects people who are 40 or older from discrimination because of age. Title I of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 makes it illegal to discriminate against any qualified person with a disability in a private sector and in state and local governments. Employers should accommodate to the limitations of qualified individuals, unless doing so would impose an undue hardship on the operation of the employer's business. All of the acts that I have stated make it illegal to retaliate against a person because a person complained about discrimination, filed a charge of discrimination, or participated in an investigation or lawsuit. They all cover common grounds where discrimination is present. There are easy signs to tell if discrimination exists in a corporation. They include when a disproportionate number of members of a certain group hold the less desirable positions within the institution, despite their preferences and abilities, or the portion of discrimination group found at the lowest levels of the institution with the portions of the group found at the higher proportions. More recently, the United States class action for women against Walmart regarding discrimination was denied, which regularly failed to pay women equal salaries and bonuses as men who do similar work. It segregates women into lower pay grade positions and favors men for promotion. How is that not discrimination, and how is that fair? Yet the Supreme Court dismissed the case. Though there is not enough for a class action, the courts made it possible for these women to have opportunity to individually sue. But that is not the only case for a class action of women. Wall Street Journal reports in 2011, Toshiba Corporation is facing a $10 million lawsuit for alleged synthetic discrimination against female employees for overpay and promotions. Though efforts have been in place to stop discrimination, gender discrimination in the workplace still exists. This is a huge obstacle for professional growth and of some individuals in the workplace. Gender-based inequalities in the workplace will continue to haunt workers in the generations to come in the United States and all over the world. Equal Pay Act of 1963 prohibits sex-based wage discrimination between men and women in the same establishment who perform jobs that require equal skill, effort, and responsibility under similar working conditions. Wages can include more than just hourly or annual pay. An employer cannot lower the wages of some employees to make wages equal. Measured by factors such as experience, ability, education, and training required to perform a job. Professions of a skill not needed to meet requirements of the job should not be considered, but the same thing keeps happening in the corporation world. Employers look at a person based on factors which are irrelevant to the person's ability. In 2010, the Equality Act replaced some acts and regulations. The reason of this act is to allow positive action to be taken, restores protection from discrimination related to disabilities, and introduces a new definition for gender reassignment. It no longer requires a person to be under medical supervision before they can claim to be transsexual. It also extends discrimination to association by age, disability, gender reassignment, and sex. Discrimination by perception to disability and gender reassignment, and allows employees to make complaints about harassment even when harassment was not directed at them. Removes the need for victimization claims to compare treatment of compliant with the fact the person who has made the complaint under the act, and protection extended to include private clubs. Age Discrimination Act of 1967 applies to all ages and perceived age groups. This is mostly to protect older workers from discrimination because it is more severe for them. This is because the job market is more strict and harder for them to jump back into the labor force. The U.S. Supreme Court stated that old age does not define a discrete group of extraordinary protection from the majority political process. Instead, it marks a stage that each of us will reach if we live out a normal lifespan. Governments in 1969 stated it is hard to define age discrimination sufficiently. It made it clear that there can be direct and indirect forms of age discrimination in employment. The most obvious forms are where people held strong stereotypical views about a person's capabilities to do a job or development because of their age. This means that they did not try to identify groups, but rather consider the manifestations of discriminations. Sexual orientation discrimination in the workplace occurs when employees are subject to negative employment actions, harassment, or denial of certain benefits because of their sexual orientation, or the sexual orientation of someone or close to. Sexual orientation discrimination has been a part of the workplace in America for decades. While the federal, state, and local laws have well increased social awareness to provide situations dramatically, many people who are not heterosexual still face obstacles at work related to being gay, bisexual, asexual, or pansexual. It is important for employees to have the right information about what constitutes discrimination based on sexual orientation, what continues harassment, and how sexual orientation discrimination can tie in with other prohibited forms of discrimination like sex, disability, gender identity, and marital status. Sexual orientations can affect job status, your working environment, your health benefits, and the host of other issues in the workplace. The law in this area is changing rapidly for better. If you feel you might be discriminated because of your sexual orientation. In states that with laws specifically making it illegal to discriminate in employment, basis of sexual orientation, there have been relatively few complaints such as discrimination. But it is more harmful to the person itself than society. On a personal basis, it can lower self-esteem, self-worth, and social relations, increase levels of stress, anxiety, and depression, and create mental health problems. People cannot live out normal lives with these implications like this. It is detrimental to their health, and they could lose motivation and everything else. Constant put-downs make it hard for people to be able to build themselves back up. And that has been my presentation on employee discrimination. Thank you and have a great day.